Funding for Jann Scott Tonite is provided by Boulder Army Store and by Terry Chiropractic and Healthcare, by Dinstall's Fine Garage, and by Nature's Own Imagination, by Mike's Camera and Video, by the Boulder Salad Company, by Hotel Boulderado, Uptime, prized rainforest botanical herbal, and by Boulder Denver Couriers, and finally by Rock Bottom Restaurants. We're at the Ben & Jerry's Scoop Shop grand opening here on Jann Scott Tonite. Thousands of people have lined up for ice cream. We're going to wait to meet Ben & Jerry themselves. We're going to talk with them. Plus, there are lots of cows here behind me. Vermont dairy cows. This is it. Our first Scoop Shop opening brought to you live on Colorado's #1 late night talk television show, me. Sean Maher opened this store. This is the grand opening. Huge grand opening, Sean.
Incredible. Much bigger than we anticipated, even.
What made you want to open up a Ben & Jerry's
Scoop Shop? I've been a fan of the ice cream for many, many years, and when I was in Florida about 3 years ago on vacation, saw a Scoop Shop. I didn't know they had Scoop Shops, and I said, Pearl Street. The light went off in my head. Yeah.
Very risky, though. I mean, there was another ice cream place here before.
There is another place across the street.
And there's one across the street, and it's expensive on Pearl Street. But I mean, by this turnout, I mean, Ben & Jerry's has to be the Boulder ice cream. Look at the thousands of people that are
It's
here.
incredible. I mean,
they're not giving this stuff away either today.
No, it's $1 for a cone, and all the money goes to charity. So we kind of is. It's almost like you get a free cone, you donate $1 to charity.
So where's all the money going today?
It's going to Boulder Day Nursery, which provides daycare for low-income families.
What is? Oh, it does.
Yes.
Daycare for low-income families. That's a good
families.
thing. You're going to raise thousands of dollars.
I think we'll raise, well, I don't want to make a prediction, but we'll raise thousands today.
That's really nice. That's a nice.
You just missed Paul Danish. Thousands of people have come here for the opening of Ben & Jerry's. This is just amazing. Unbelievable. They've come from Boulder, they've come from Golden, from Washington, D.C. Where are you from? Hey, good. Where are you from? Boulder. Boulder. Anybody here from Lyons? Gold Hill? No. It's the first and only double-fisted ice cream eater today on the show, after talking with thousands of people.
Thousands? There's a lot of people here.
Thousands.
This is great. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
What do you like about these guys?
Oh, these guys are great. I mean, they do so much good. I mean, what they do for all the farmers and the inner city people and employing people with disabilities to make brownies. I mean, that's how it should be. You know, I look up to these guys like they're great, and then just watching them talk, they're so down to earth. They're not.
They're good guys.
They're not like corporate America people. They're mellow.
Very cool.
I totally appreciate that, and I will definitely support that, and I'll be back for more. I work right over there, so I'll come back in like an hour and get two more ice cream cones.
We'll check with you in 6 months and see how you're doing otherwise, but you look pretty.
All right, I'll fill into these pretty soon here. Okay.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, see you, bye. Rob Mahalik is spokesperson for Ben & Jerry's. Their corporate office in Waterbury, Vermont, came to Boulder to help open the new Scoop store. Huh?
This is just a fabulous place. You know, we always knew that Boulder was a great place for Ben & Jerry's, and we've got a wonderful franchisee who's a local person committed to the community, and this is just a fabulous outpouring for people to come out on our grand opening.
Sean Maher is the owner here. How many Scoop stores do you have around the country?
We've got about 130 Scoop shops, which isn't really a lot in terms of franchising. We're trying to grow slowly so that we have a quality program. And we try to find franchises and franchisees who share the values of the company, that are committed to the community. And Sean is a guy who's committed to the local community.
How many Scoop shops in Colorado?
This is the very first scoop shop in Colorado. This is it, number one.
Started in a garage in 1978, right?
That was it. They wanted to be their own boss, and they found this kind of funky old gas station that was abandoned. They renovated it, and they started to make the ice cream. And basically, what they said was, we're just going to make the best product we can right here. It was kind of the zen of ice cream, you know, make it good. Remember the people that come in the door to spend their money here. And it just, the whole idea of making that quality product and supporting the community in small ways when they were smaller. And as we grew, we were able to support the community in larger ways. It took off over the years, growing in the Northeast and then East Coast and then out west and in the central part of the country.
Let's talk about the mission statement. Tell me about the parts of your mission statement.
What happened was for a long time we were operating the company with a sense of a mission, and we did it intuitively, but finally we decided to write it down in 1988. It's got 3 parts, and the 3 parts are basically this: make a quality product, run the company in an economically sound way, and remember the community in the way you make your business decisions. And that's called the social mission, and that's what a lot of people know us for.
What do you do with the social mission? You give away a percentage of your proceeds, don't you? What percentage do you give away, and to whom do you give it?
We give 7.5% back through corporate philanthropy, and we try to do it to grassroots community-based groups. The thing is what we discovered was even with philanthropy, we're never going to have enough money to help everybody. So what we're trying to do is incorporate the values of philanthropy right into capitalism, and we do that in a number of ways with either progressive supplier relationships or partner shop relationships where nonprofits own the scoop shop and it helps them. They're all different ways that we've kind of incorporated it right into the capitalism.
Ben & Jerry's has you opened a branch, or you're selling ice cream now in Russia and the former Soviet Union?
That's correct.
What's it called?
It's actually it's called Russia. but I'm sorry. What I wanted to say was that where we are is in a place called Petrozavodsk, Karelia. It's north of Moscow and it's east of St. Petersburg, and that's a joint venture. And we started that when the Soviet Union was still in place and the Cold War was still a bit chilly. And what we wanted to do is to exchange our business acumen, entrepreneurship, and cultural things. We wanted to exchange that. We wanted to kind of go with the idea that the best way to defeat an enemy is to make them a friend. And we wanted to share ideas and share our culture. So we started way back in '88, and we finally opened it up in '92, and it's going great. It's really going great there.
Let's switch to the employees of Ben & Jerry. You are reputed to have some of the best employee programs, highest paid wages of any company in the United States. So can you tell us a little bit about employee wages and also employee benefits, and how the heck do you afford to do it when a lot of companies say they have to cut costs and they can't pay people anything?
Well, what we knew early on is that there's got to be a linked prosperity, because if the employees feel a partnership and an ownership, then the work quality is going to be a higher quality productivity and all of that, and that's just simple common sense. And so we established a system where the lowest entry-level full-time people are paid well and the benefits are good, but we're learning, we're trying to figure some things out. Some things, we do a social audit every year. We do a financial audit in our annual report, and we also in that annual report do a social audit. And the social audit is done independently from out of house, and it's pointed out some areas that we needed to work on. One was, for a while, maternity and paternity, and we worked that out. We've got a pretty good maternity and paternity program. Also for adoption, we have domestic partnerships, that domestic partners of any sex can get the same benefits that married couples might have. We try to work on. We're working on cafeteria plans where different people can utilize different benefits. But the thing is we don't have it all figured out. And again, this is where learning from other businesses can help. And I think, to me, the key of a socially responsible business is a business that can look at itself critically, figure out what it needs to work on, and resolve that. It's not so much that anybody's perfect, because we all make mistakes. It's how do you correct those mistakes.
Speaking of looking at yourself critically, a news story came out in the Denver Post about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I don't know what it was. It brought into question some of the ingredients in Ben & Jerry's and questioned whether or not they were what you say they actually are. What's the resolution of that particular news story, and what do you have to say about it? Because I never did hear back from the company.
Well, you know, a lot of those stories really come out of the source for that is that annual report that I was talking about. And in the social performance report, which is done independently from out of house, we've had a
annual report. Let's show this. Isn't this a cool annual report?
In our social
company with something like this.
In our audit, in our annual report, so some of the most critical news stories about the company actually come out of the social assessment. For example, we found out that our cherries and Cherry Garcia at one time had nitrates or something to that effect.
Yeah.
We didn't realize it until we did the audit. Once we found it out,
took them out.
We could work with the supplier and say, hey, get those out of there.
Sure.
And so we were able to reconcile that. And that's the idea. When we're
I see. So then the news people kind of picked up with your own self-criticism and ran with it and created some kind of a scandalous news story that didn't even exist.
Well, you know, this is the kind of thing that happens. I mean, some reports will go out there and actually have an imbalance of information, and it makes it look somewhat nefarious. But, you know, that's going to happen, and we're okay with it because, like I said, I think we're more critical of ourselves than anybody else can be, and the idea is how can we reconcile those situations that we've identified as areas we need to improve. One of the ways that we've been able to incorporate this idea of carrying capitalism right into our business decisions, we make a flavor called chocolate fudge brownie.
Yeah.
And you know, we worked on it so it's a quality product. So that's mission number one. It adds to our sales, so the bottom line, economic mission number two. But we buy the brownies from a bakery in Yonkers, New York called the Grayston Bakery. And the Grayston Bakery trains and hires people who are unemployed or underemployed or undertrained in their community. So basically they're taking people off the welfare rolls and putting them on the payrolls. So the more brownies we buy from them, the more they're able to train and employ people. You know, that's the upside of that story. The downside of that story is we had a similar progressive relationship with a supplier, but the flavor didn't sell. And so once the flavor stopped selling, we couldn't buy the supplies anymore. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how to create models of success that we can replicate and not move too quickly into any relationships where it might in the end have to be discontinued.
What's your favorite?
My favorite is just helping people. You know what I'm saying? I haven't sampled yet, to tell you the truth. I walked in and just been handing out. My traditional favorite, Cherry Garcia. Yeah, I have to say.
I wonder if they're going to come out with a Cherry Garcia memorial.
Well, I wonder if they're going to do a little sculpture, like a Jerry Garcia effigy in Cherry Garcia ice cream. That's the kind of thing. That's an artful concept. Right. Oh. Anyway, life is good here at Ben & Jerry's Scoop Shop, and I'll tell you why. The customer's the winner, all right? You understand what I'm saying? And all the money goes to charity.
Where's the money going this year?
I'm not at liberty to discuss. I really don't know. I think it's a children's charity.
Yeah, no, we'll figure it out in a second here. All right.
That's your first one.
Oh, and there's the lovely Helen for us.
Hi there. Hello.
Do you know what television show you're on?
Jann Scott Tonite.
That's right.
You bet.
So, question for you. What kind of ice cream do you have here today? What is this? Oh my God.
It's black raspberry.
It's what?
Black raspberry.
Black raspberry. That's the first one I've seen.
Good?
Yeah. It matches you too. Look it. Can you see her face? It really doesn't it? And look, that one matches yours.
Oh, thanks.
Oh my God. It's like your dog.
I think you ought to be doing some sort of study, a psychological study about the flavors people pick and what it says about them.
I know. Myself Well, it's Ben and Jerry on Jann Scott Tonite.
Ben and Jerry. What's your name?
That's Jerry.
Who
Jann
are you?
Scott. Hi.
Jann Scott.
Jann.
Tonight. Well, Mr. Tonight, how can we be of service?
Okay, let's talk about, I was reading about caring capitalism. The fact that you guys give away 7% of your revenue.
7.5%.
7.5%, yeah.
Of our pre-tax profits.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that because and how you do it. How can you afford to do it? And how can you afford to, you also pay your employees really well.
That's what our underwriters said when we were having our national public stock offering, and we said, we want to give away. We were saying we wanted to give away 10% of our pre-tax profits, and they said, you can never do that. The street will never go for that. Nobody will ever buy your stock. And we said, well, if we can't do that, we don't want to go public. And they said, well, the average is 1.5%. Why don't you do 1.5% or 2%? That would be a lot. We said, no, we want to do 10, and we eventually compromised at 7.5. And, the way it works is that it becomes just a cost of doing business, like your rent or like your electric bill, and it's never been a problem for us. I mean, it's never had a bad financial effect.
Okay. So can you talk about caring capitalism maybe for other companies that could that might benefit from how you do it here in Colorado?
Well, I think I really need to point out that the bulk of what we do for the community is not related to the 7.5% of our pre-tax profits that we give away, but we find that we are most powerful when we marry social concerns with our day-to-day business activities.
Yeah.
So, an example of that would be that when we found this bakery in an inner-city area of New York that's owned by a religious institution and employs formerly jobless people and gives them job training to get back into the economic mainstream, we said, what can you make for us that we can use in our ice cream so we can give you business? And they make brownies, and that's how we came out with chocolate fudge brownie ice cream. So, we give those guys $1 million worth of business a year. It makes a great ice cream, it solves a social problem, and it makes money for the company. And it's not at all related to giving money away.
Let me see if I can get Jerry in on this too.
Jerry, come on over here. It's
while you're signing.
Mr. Tonight wants to talk with you,
Oh,
and you're
stop.
there, and you're there signing autographs.
No, it's okay.
I've been here. I've been here the whole time. I've been listening.
We've been doing great. Okay. The other question that I have for you is on companies that are cutting costs. They're cutting back people. They're paying people less. They're putting people on temporary jobs so they don't have to pay them benefits.
Right.
And yet you guys have a company and you pay people well. They get paid benefits. And so what do you say to big companies that are? I mean, do they really have to cut costs? Can they not do what you're doing?
Well, it's hard to know anybody else's individual situation, and we've never had to face that ourselves. But I would like to think that in the long run, over the long haul, that you're going to be better off served taking care of your employees and taking care of your customers as opposed to not taking care of them. That's sort of what goes around comes around.
Well, I think the problem is that traditional business theory tells you to treat employees as expendable. They're not considered to be an asset. And whereas your machinery is considered to be an asset, and that's not expendable. And what we realized is that employees are our assets. They're the most important part of the company. And so in tough times, our first cost-cutting measure would not be laying off employees. We would try everything else first. But in a lot of other companies, the first cost-cutting measure is laying off employees.
Back to the word that your company coined, and I guess you coined it, caring capitalism. I mean, here we are in a community that has been kind of anti-capitalism for a long time, even though our community prospers, and there are a lot of people that hate capitalism, and I kind of wonder how you work in it, and you look like a couple of hip and groovy guys, if you know what I mean. I mean, even capitalism.
I don't blame people for being anti-capitalism.
Yeah.
I am anti-capitalism. The traditional way that capitalism has been practiced, in general, has taken necessities from the many in order to give luxuries to a few. and that stinks. And so what we're trying to do is to marry progressive social policy with capitalism, and that's what caring capitalism is about.
Have the Clinton administration, have they looked you guys up, or have any political campaigns looked for you for leadership in in this caring capitalism?
Well, Clinton is a very good eater, and he's a very good ice cream eater. And
is he a Ben and Jerry's?
He does consume Ben and Jerry's.
What's his favorite?
I don't know. He probably samples around.
Right.
I think Robert Reich from the administration is in touch with us, and it's not unusual for government to try to find businesses to be involved in public policy and things like that. I think what we're trying to do is get government to change as well. I think sometimes government wants private business to take care of stuff. We would like government to get out of stuff that is not taking care of people, but is building more weapons.
You're good guys. When we come to Vermont, we go on the road once a month. Maybe we'll come and visit you.
Oh, you should definitely come.
Yeah,
we'll bring you to the freezer if you come. That's not on the main tour.
You'll bring me to the freezer?
I'll bring you into the freezer.
Inside the freezer.
It's the best place to be. I mean, it's really...
How is it?
It's impressive. It's cold. You'll remember it.
It's cold, and you're surrounded by ice cream, these shelves of ice cream just stacked up, and you go, boy, look at all that ice cream. I mean, it's all you can think. I mean,
you're making me really hungry.
Well, you think you'd have some really deep thought or some profound thought, and all you can think is, boy, that's a lot of ice cream. It's as deep as we get at Ben and Jerry's.
You're having a good time here, aren't you? You have a good time anyways.
Great time here. Well, it's nice being on either side of Mr. Tonite.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a Tonite sandwich.
Well, ooh.
Yeah. Come on, let's squeeze tonight.
And you guys have been ice cream lovers your whole lives, huh?
Yes, but we have only been, ice cream devotees, true fanatics for 18 or 20 years.
Anything you want to tell us that might be coming in the future, like any secret information you want to drop now, or
a lot of secret information.
Feel it on Jann Scott Tonite?
That's right. That's NBC or
national premiere on Jann Scott Tonite. Well, there's a new flavor coming out, and it begins with a PH.
That's all you can say, Ben, because I gave him other hints earlier, and I think if you put all the hints together,
PH.
You've got it.
Anybody know what that is? PH?
No, we can't even. Have to kill you.
Well, I want to thank you both, for taking some time and being on our humble little public access television show here in Denver and Boulder.
Mr. Tonite, it's been a pleasure.
It's Ben and Jerry, folks, on my TV show. It's Ginger from not KBC, or from The Peak.
From The
Peak.
Peak in Denver.
Thank you. The Peak is my favorite radio station.
Well, I appreciate that. I bet you say that to all the DJs.
No, I don't. I don't listen to anything else but you guys.
I'm a little flushed. This is hard work.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Going nonstop.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Well, I should still start trying them all. I have a feeling I'm going to like Chubby Hubby.
Let you and I try every one.
Because I like to go to the one that has the most stuff.
Chubby Hubby.
Chubby Hubby.
Okay. Your husband's name is Chubby Hubby?
This is my Chubby Hubby. My Chubby Hubby just tried the Chubby Hubby. And now he's...
And how long have you been married?
A little over a month?
Yeah, a month.
We're newlyweds.
2 months.
I can tell. How can I tell it? Okay.
You bet. Cleaning up my palate after eating Chubby Hubby, a little sorbet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, the addition of smooth line is a good idea. I used to be a Haagen-Dazs guy. I was tasting your ice cream between the chunks. Some of the chunks are good. I mean, it's good. Pistachio, whatever else. But the smooth stuff is really excellent. I'm a Ben and Jerry man.
Yeah, I can tell that you are. Do you live in Vermont? Or you live here?
Yeah, you got it. Right here in Boulder.
So how's the basketball team doing this year, Coach?
Well, we're coming on. We're starting to play our best ball of the year. It's the end of the season, and that's the best time to be playing well.
Do you have any predictions for any future college players on the team right now, or NBA players?
I don't see any NBA players, but I think we've got some potential college players.
That's it. Got you down here scooping ice cream?
My techniques, I've got to get a little practice in here, a little repetition, but I'm getting better. It's a lot of fun. Thanks.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about Vermont dairy cows, what the difference is? I mean, do you have a pet cow?
No, I don't have a cow, but we get all our dairy products from Vermont family farmers, and they tend to be very small farms, people with about 80 cows, and they're really more like people's families as opposed to a factory farm.
You shaved your beard?
No, Ben's got the beard, and that's how we are able to tell each other apart.
This is an unbelievable turnout here in Boulder.
It does seem like there's a lot of people, and it's really nice to see.
Are you on a scoop shop tour? Is that what you guys are doing? The Great American Ben & Jerry Scoop Shop tour?
No, this is a really special store for us. We don't usually go to stores.
You don't do it, do you? This is the only one you've come to?
This is the only one I've come to in the last several years. We've been working on a store here for several years, and Boulder's always been a really good community for people supporting Ben & Jerry's products. And
we've never seen anything like this in Boulder. I mean, for an ice cream store opening, people don't just go totally insane.
Well, there must be some sort of special deal. I think that's what it is. Don't we have a deal going on today?
All right. Look at
giving it all away, but
it's all going to charity or something. $1.
That's good.
Yeah, it's going to. One other question on Cherry Garcia. Are you going to come up with a Cherry Garcia memoriam ice cream?
Well, Cherry Garcia was always designed as a tribute to Jerry, and it seems like he ought to still be getting a tribute.
Are you friends with him? Did you know?
Just met him, but it would be a real stretch to say we were friends.
Are you going to come up with another famous, I don't know, like an Elvis or a?
We're working on a top secret musical theme for later this year that I'm not at liberty to talk about this time.
And you don't appear on talk shows either, do you? Except for my talk show.
Except for yours, and that's the only reason I came to this.
Because we're a goofy public access talk show. I mean,
you are a goofy guy, man. You're like wild. I'm surprised. Can't wait till you roll up your sleeve.
Well, that's it here from the Ben & Jerry's grand opening. This is the biggest event that Boulder's ever had since I've been here. Pretty amazing, huh? It is. Biggest, yeah. That's it on Jann Scott Tonite from Ben & Jerry's grand opening. Ken Coors is the guy from Ford who actually designed the new Taurus, though he won't take credit for it. He headed up the team. He did this in his garage the way Henry Ford used to, right?
Well, I wish I could, but as I told you before, it's really a team effort.
Yeah.
Shape, very rounded, very aero, sweeping changes. It's all continuous flow lines. All we wanted to take a real gamble and say we wanted to repeat the 1986 car all over again with an exciting style, one that's going to shock the market and be very successful. This is in the 3-passenger front seat form, and what we've done is we have a patented device that's probably a breakthrough in the industry as far as convenience for the consumer. You fold this forward and you get 3 cup holders.
Yeah, wait a minute. If you hit the brakes really hard, isn't that going to just take the coffee and throw it on the kids in the back of the car?
No more than any cup holder. That's a nice.
We put that in the market, and suddenly the kids were covered with coffee. No, I'm just kidding.
One of the features of the car, it meets the 1997 side impact standards, and one of the ways we do that is we put a strong side guard beam inside the door. And when a car hits this door beam, it catches on this bracket right here.
Oh yeah.
You see this, so when the car hits it, this hook catches on this bracket.